How's it going, everybody? So as you may notice, my shop is currently a mess. I am in the middle of a project for an upcoming video. Keep an eye out for that, and drop a comment down below if you think you can guess what it will be. But in the meantime, I'm going to be showing you how I turned this little metal shed into an actual studio. Now, for a little bit of context, before I moved here, I was living in a place that had like community rules and stuff like that, to where I couldn't be making noises, I couldn't have this big equipment, I couldn't build a shop or anything like that. I was very limited, so I couldn't work on my hobbies or anything, and it was really frustrating, quite depressing to be quite honest with you. But whenever I moved here and I saw that there was a little metal shed, I was like, awesome, I'm gonna turn this into something. So the first round of remodeling was done a long time ago. I moved in, I cleared everything out, cleaned it out, I ran power in here, built some shelves, and made it into a nice little workshop for building my knives. But as time went on and my hobbies increased and I wanted to start actually making them into videos and stuff like that, I knew I would need to make a shift away from this really dusty, dirty workshop into more of a studio slash workshop environment, to where I can have more lighting, camera, and stuff like that. So that was quite a big process. I got a little bit of time lapse along the way. Not everything went as planned, as I'll explain later, but let's just dive into it and I'll tell you about what happened as I show you some of the time lapses I took along the way. Alright, so as you can see, I started out with quite a mess because I had been remodeling and kind of turned this place into a storage shed. But cleaning all that garbage out, you can see I actually had a pretty decent little workshop set up. But time to go out with the old and in with the new. So I cleared a spot for all my grinders and sanders and set them up on a bench where I plan to build a lean-to later. Now there was so much sawdust and debris on the inside of the shop that I had to take a pressure washer and just spray all of that out there to get it clean. And then it was on to dealing with this concrete floor. Kind of the biggest thing I had to deal with on this project was the fact that it was very uneven and unlevel because whoever did it before didn't know what they were doing. So I had to apply this sealant on top of the old concrete so I could pour new concrete and make it nice and level. But that was much easier said than done, and I faced the most amount of setbacks during this part of the process. This mixer that you can see I'm using ended up going out midway through the process, and the concrete that I had wasn't enough. I had to go get more, just a whole running around making sure it was working, just back breaking work, just like everything kept on going wrong during this part of the process. But in the end, despite what it looked like, it was actually nice and level, so I was ready to move on with the rest of the shop build. And that brings us to the biggest priority of this remodel, the insulation. You see, it wasn't insulated at all, and so I couldn't heat or cool the place. It was super hot in the summer and super cold in the winter. However, if I were to be doing this again, I would definitely get thicker insulation because this thin bubble wrap stuff just doesn't quite cut it. And while we're on the subject of things I would have done differently, yoga mat is definitely not that great for shop floors. It just gets torn up too easily. Now moving on, I built this really cool bench. I really like it. It's super tall, but it was so hard to put up by myself. Anyway, main shop bench turned out great. And I decided to add this roofing material as extra insulation, but also to give my shop more of a cool matte black feeling to it. I also tried to insulate the door, but yeah, it's a roll-up door, so that didn't exactly work. But yeah, with that done, all that was left to do was just add a couple shelves for all my hand tools and stuff like that. And overall, I'd say it looked pretty good at that point, nice and bare, ready to be made into a studio. And if you want to see that process, be sure to check out my video called Setting Up Shop, because that's where I go into some more of the details of how I set up my lighting, my camera rig, and stuff like that to make this into more of a filming studio. But at any rate, I really wanted to make this video to encourage or motivate anyone out there to just get out there and make a YouTube channel, or just do whatever else you want to do. Even if you're not working with the ideal tools or equipment or the space to work in, just make the best of what you have. And doing that is so much more rewarding. To actually take something that isn't that great and turn it into something that you're personally proud of is just so fulfilling. So even if it's just turning a little old metal shed into your own custom YouTube studio, get out there, do the best you can with what you have, and it'll be that much more rewarding in the end. But I'm gonna get off of my soapbox now. Enough preaching for today. I hope y'all enjoyed the video. I hope y'all are looking forward to some cool projects in the future. I know I am. And yeah, until the next one, stay happy, healthy, wealthy, and wise, and I'll catch you later. Still haven't fully worked out this outro thing.